Hey y'all, welcome back to What She Says Sports. So there's some breaking news, and it happened a few days ago, and I have no idea as to how this went under the radar. Um, so we're gonna give everybody a chance to join us. Today is the 12:30 lunch and learn, not lunch and learn, Lord, uh, lunch and stream series. So welcome. We'll give everybody a chance to join in. We're just gonna hang out for a second. Hey everybody, we're just waiting for everybody to join. While we wait, I hope y'all had a chance to catch our content on X. Dropped a video snippet on X from one of our popular videos from this past week. X, TikTok, and IG, and Facebook. All right. So I guess we need to make it over to Threads today and Twitch. So I'm going live on Twitch at some time today. I got 3 followers on Twitch, so y'all heard me when I said, hey, follow me. So thank you. I'm going live on Twitch today, and we're going to play a game. We're going to have some fun. We're going to kick back. Y'all remember what this is. We played this the other day. So we're going to play a game on Twitch and talk about any breaking news that come up. It's going to be random. So if you're on Twitch, turn your notifications on. All right. So does anybody remember Classic Coke? I don't think it didn't work out, but does anybody remember Classic Coke? All right. If you remember Classic Coke, raise your hand in the chat or just thumbs up in the chat. All right. Classic Coke was an epic failure. And y'all are like, how does this get to Cleveland and Shedeur? It does in the NFL. It does. Believe me, it does. Classic Coke was an epic failure. It was arrogance by a corporation who wanted to do something different, but they didn't take their audience, their customers in mind. See, companies spend a lot of money to introduce themselves to us, to get us on the hook for their products, so we always want to drink Coke. We always want to go to Disney. We always want to watch sports. We always want to go to the football games. We always want to go to the basketball games. They spend a lot of money. And we like being associated. A lot of people like being associated with wealth. And when you have like the NFL and you see the production of the Super Bowl, and even though you learn that like Kendrick Lamar and other halftime artists, they have to pay to perform, but the exposure they get from it is worth it. Like Kendrick Lamar went on tour after the Super Bowl. So it was a win-win for the Super Bowl, who had over 88 million views at the time. It's probably more than that. And it was a win-win for Kendrick Lamar because why? He went on tour and that was like hype for his tour. That was marketing for his tour. So understand when you see the NFL do anything, it's business, and they have an audience. They have a consumer audience. They have diehards. They have casuals. They have fans that are just interested. Clearly 88 million of them watch at home during the halftime show. They like to say the halftime show is for the people at home and the people in the venue. The game is, for them, but the halftime show is for the people at home. The game is for everybody because a lot of people don't like to go to the stadium and watch the game. We like to be around friends and family and in a vibe, with people that are like-minded, not just one of us sitting there with somebody else. And, it's just, it's cool. So the NFL has an audience at home. They know this. Kendrick Lamar's halftime show, best halftime show in NFL history, most watched NFL show in NFL history, right? Now, there were people that didn't like the halftime show. But that's not a surprise, right? This is the United States of America. People used to refer to it as the great melting pot. And it is. It's a lot of diverse backgrounds. But what people have in common is their love of sports or their love of music. So the halftime show brings it together. So the NFL has an audience at home. They have an audience who goes to the game. They have people who are just interested, who might buy their merch but never go to a game. So, I can tap into different revenue streams. So I spend a lot of money getting people together to watch my product or partake in it or whatever. And because the NFL seems like glitz and glam, players make a lot of money, it's wealth and people want to be associated with wealth. That's one of the reasons the Dallas Cowboys have is still legendary, legendary keyword, after so many years of losing, because people want to be associated with the brand. There's a whole industry, brand marketing, that's what people focus on, right? So the NFL has spent a lot of money to get us to where we are. They spent a lot of money and to get us to watch the NFL draft. 7.3 million of us. And they use Shedeur. Shedeur was the marketing strategy. Everybody loves Shedeur. The NFL knows this. I pointed it out at the celebrity flag football game on February 6th or 7th in New Orleans. Shedeur was one of the celebrities with his own jersey. He just didn't play, maybe because the same reason he didn't play in the Shrine Bowl. You getting ready for the draft, you can't get out there and get hurt. It was filled with legends like Michael Vick. So you got Michael Vick on the one end and you got Shador Sanders on the other end. And we all know Michael Vick is hella popular. You look at social media, especially on Facebook, hella popular, 97,000 views just for his spring game alone, only on one channel. And it was wildly attended. And he's got I guess like Coach Prime, but Coach Michael Vick, he has his own series. And it seemed like it's going to be on Prime. No, it's going to be on BET. It's going to be on BET. So they're curating their audience. They're marketing to their audience. So they know exactly who Michael Vick's audience is. Even though he came from the NFL, he still has a specific audience. The NFL knew who the audience was for the flag football team. You can tell by who played on the team. Shedeur, along with Angel Reese, Jordan Childs, some popular YouTubers, Kai Sanat, I Show Speed, was amongst the celebrities. So Shador Sanders, before he got to the NFL, played in the celebrity flag football game for the NFL at the behest of the NFL, right? So on February 6th or 7th, that was a Saturday, whatever day that was, the NFL had already established, they knew Shedeur was a celebrity. So let's put a pin in that. We might take that pin out on another podcast, but just put a pin in that. Shedeur was a celebrity. We know that, all right? So we've been talking about, how Shedeur was disrespected, publicly humiliated, defamed. They worked him. They lured us in to watch him be publicly humiliated. All right, we know that. Now, we talked about Cleveland, how the public humiliation was continuing, and we didn't like it, from the welcome call being condescending to the he got to come in and we're not giving him anything, it continuing the entitled trope, right? And we didn't like it. And I did a video 2 days ago saying, so now the NFL gets it that Shedeur, is him. And we asked, so what's this 360 about? I was like, no, because y'all pushed him down to the 5th round and you stole his money, and he gonna get his money. He gonna get his money. Watch what I tell you. You stole his money. You embarrassed him in front of all of us. You pulled the prank on him. The NFL gave out the number so the prank could be executed. Yada yada yada. We know that, right? So he get the Cleveland. Y'all continuing with the same type of public humiliation, you ain't shit type attitude that they have towards him. One reporter even asking Shedeur, why do people like you? Okay, I know nobody went to college for 4 years or possibly 5 with a master's in journalism to ask questions like that. And the fact that people are asking questions like that tells me they're lazy. They're lazy. They told me bust out my AP, perfect timing. Got these baguettes up on my neck. I stay shining. All metaphors. All metaphors. I stay shining. Underline that part. I stay shining. So if I stay shining and I was in your celebrity football game, then why on earth, all of a sudden in the draft, you want to act like you don't know me? Like I'm Boo Boo the Fool. You never met me before. We strangers. You act like I'm a Tinder date you want to get rid of. Right? Okay, stay there. Cleveland, it was happening in the beginning. They talking about a lot comes with, having a Hall of Fame day, yada, yada, yada. All right. So they took the same public humiliation and they put it on in Cleveland. Then 2 days ago, we're asking, why is Kevin Stefanski suddenly, Shedeur was raised right, this, that, and the other. I'm like, that's walking back. That's what you call walking back. They're walking back all that negativity about Shedeur and Cleveland at the team level. Just like the Atlanta Falcons was fine at the team level for the data breach, but it occurred where? Up higher, NFL level. Put a pin in that too. So we got two opinions going on. So the negativity in Cleveland continues. We talked about it. Then Kevin Stefanski is the first person that we see walking it back. I even asked the members of What She Said podcast. So do y'all think Cleveland somebody put him up to this? And we were saying like, yeah, no, people had mixed thoughts or reactions about it. Because I was like, this is different. This is different. And it's like they sent Kevin to do it. Then what happens? Then we see Kyler Cowherd. Also in my video 2 days ago, go watch it. I put out the actual things he said negative, how he was so negative about Shedeur. He walking back. Oh, Shedeur can start. And I told y'all, hold on. Now, he wasn't worth being drafted like the elite QB that he is in the first round. Make no mistake about it. When Shador Sanders is not a fifth round QB, listen to how they say it. Shador Sanders is an elite first round QB that was pushed down and drafted in the fifth round. And apparently people don't want to say that because then they're going to have to start walking back all the negativity like they are currently doing. As of 2 days ago, Kevin Stefanski, then the media, and then Shedeur goes to minicamp. Shedeur goes to a rookie minicamp, and they don't discuss his stats, but they are out there. He balls out 5 touchdowns, throwing for 400 yards, accuracy 28 of 30. And I read a comment that said the coaching staff at Cleveland was wowed by Shador Sanders throwing accuracy in his arm straight. What? His deep ball accuracy and his arm straight. That's what Shador is known for. That's what all Colorado QBs are known for. The two QBs that we currently have, in my opinion, have the same skill set as Shador Sanders. Dual threat, and people say Shedeur has no mobility. That's false. So go watch the Baylor game. So Shedeur Sanders is now getting his just due in Cleveland. Now, we didn't hear anything at the NFL level. We see Kevin Stefanski, we see the media, and now the coaching staff, which includes Kevin Stefanski. And I said, nope, don't trust it. Nope, something's going on. I said, we need to keep an eye on this because why all of a sudden is he getting his just due, right? So it isn't because they realized he's a celebrity. They knew he was a celebrity in a flag football game. So take that pen out. Okay, this ain't about his celebrity. Him being publicly humiliated isn't because we didn't know you was famous or we don't want to be famous. It's not that. Just hold on for a second. Then we have an announcement that went largely under the radar. And it's huge to me. What did I say should happen I did a poll. What NFL teams, because they are consistently poor performance, should be forced to sell? The poll said overwhelmingly who? The Giants. Second was the Saints. And third was who? Cleveland. And I talked about how these owners, even though y'all don't never see them, they take great pride in the ownership of these teams. But like Donald Sterling, because of the way Shedeur was publicly humiliated, the direction of that prank and the association with Ole Miss and how they tried to defame Shedeur, all of that the negativity came from the New York Giants. I said, out of 3, the New York Giants need to be forced to sell. I said, but the other 2 need to be forced to sell and get some new ownership as well. The Saints need to quickly get Tillman Fertitta on board and some kind of ownership position. Stat. They are killing that organization and the Pelicans too. And then we have the Browns. So everybody pointed out who owns the Browns. There was a debate back and forth over who's pulling the strings. I said, it's the owner. I said, you are not going to convince me with how the discrimination we see against Black players, coaches, GMs, executives, and quarterbacks in this league. Anybody with a leadership position is a target. You are not going to convince me that the NFL itself, even in the shadows, or the ownership in Cleveland allowed somebody from a group that they keep their foot on their necks, Black people in NFL who they said had inferior brains to white people and settled $1 billion lawsuit for. You're not going to convince me that they let Andrew Berry have the autonomy to give Deshaun Watson a $240 million fully guaranteed contract. You're not ever going to convince me and a jury of that once you start pointing out all the discrimination against NFL quarterbacks, and because that's public, and it comes with a lot of public humiliation. And then on the side that we don't see in their buildings, on their virtual meetings, behind the scenes. Because if this is what we see with Shedeur, Lamar Jackson, going all the way back to Doug Williams, if this would happen publicly, oh, you got to know it's got to be a shit show behind the scenes when it comes to the discrimination. So you're not going to convince me or a jury or anybody else that the NFL, after the discrimination and the belief about Black people's brains being inferior, that they gave somebody who they think brain is inferior autonomy to give Deshaun Watson a fully guaranteed $240 million contract. So what that means is they trot people out and put people out there to say things. In my opinion, Michael Strahan was trotted out in front of the rookies for the Giants to tell the Giants, after the way they defamed Shador Sanders and seemingly have connections to Ole Miss, who had connections to that prank. It seems that they used Michael Strahan and trot him out to a majority Black group of people to say your coaches love you. They ain't love Shador because they straight lied on him. And what they said about him is the reason they robbed him of $70 million. And Shador need to get more than that, and it need to be all at once immediately. So back to Cleveland. All right, so Cleveland has new ownership stake. Now, we talked about these teams having ownership groups. Like I said, the Buffalo Bills, I told y'all a few weeks ago, the Buffalo Bills ownership group got new persons. They have, what was it? Tracy McGrady and his cousin, Vince Carter, right? Perfect. And then Atlanta has, in my opinion, a celebrity stacked and business-minded ownership group. But I pointed out, the ownership group in Atlanta didn't work for Michael Penix Jr. Michael Penix Jr. came in, having a Black head coach didn't help. He got drafted first round, but then they put him on the bench in favor of Kirk Cousins, who was older and waning in talent, and because that's what they wanted to see. That was their preference. But that went badly. So guess who's starting and is on the cover of the 2025 schedule for the Atlanta Falcons, holding the football in the middle with a do-rag on? It's velvet, but Michael Penix Jr. So the point is, he's starting. So the ownership group was already in place in Atlanta, and it did not help with Michael Penix Jr.'s situation. Don't know much about the Bills, but they do have new ownership group. But we did feel like when it came to Miami, the ownership group consisting of Venus and Serena Williams and others was integral when it came to that situation with Tyreek Hill, that public display of ridiculousness down on damn near on the property en route to the stadium. I think you can see the stadium in the background. So the ownership groups have value, in my opinion. And I also said I think this is a new business model for the NFL because these teams are so expensive. Not everybody can come along and pony up. Like the Dallas Cowboys have a $10 billion valuation. A lot of people not just coming with that kind of money. So ownership groups matter, but there are teams that don't have ownership groups. So the breaking news is Cleveland has a new minority owner. Charles Woodson, legendary Hall of Fame player. Y'all know who Charles Woodson is. I don't need to give you his resume. And I'm like, interesting timing. Now, this happened 4 days ago, 3 days ago. Or it was announced 4 days ago, 3 days ago. I made that video 2 days ago asking, what's bringing about this 360? What's bringing about this 360? Now, some people said, the Browns want a new stadium. I'm like, that's not it. Because if they wanted a new stadium, they would have drafted Shedeur number 2. They would have put that 2 on his back, and he would be everywhere. On his chest. He will be everywhere. He will be everywhere. But that's not the case. What you do see in Cleveland is a bunch of negativity that's starting to be walked back and the smothering of his celebrity status. The complaints that you heard about in the NFL during the draft was, why does he use legendary? Why does he use #be legendary? The owners don't want him because of that. Okay. Those are masks. Those are mere excuses so you don't see what the real problem is. And people like, they don't want the circus, the media circus in Cleveland with Shedeur. I'm like, so the NFL don't like the media? Don't they have media? Why they don't send their own media down there? That's what they should have did. So they want to act like they don't see Shedeur. Like they went out on a date with Shedeur, pre-draft process extensively with the Browns, and then suddenly they have ghosted him on social media. And when they see him in person, they turn and go back the other way. They acting like he ain't nobody. And this is where Cult Classic comes in. Okay, Charles Woodson gets a 0.01% stake in the Cleveland Browns. It comes with a lot of restrictions. He owns outside businesses like bourbon and other alcohol. He has to take his face off of the alcohol brand. So he has to go to a Tex brand. So it says W. I saw a nice photo of him holding a bourbon, and maybe that was the picture before, but I'm sure he's in the process of doing all of that. So he's changing everything to a Tex logo and taking a graphic logo, which possibly had himself in it, off. And I'm like, now why does he have to do that? Because something about the NFL's alcohol policy. I'm like, don't they sell alcohol? But maybe they don't sell that kind of alcohol. Maybe they just sell beer. So if they have a no alcohol policy, apparently, as a minority owner, you can't have your face on your alcohol product that you have independently of the NFL. So this state cost him about $5.1 million. And if you do the math, somewhere around 2023, Cleveland made about $500 million. So let's just say it's 2025. Let's project 2026. Let's just say what you're doing. Let's just say they get to 600 million. Now, there are teams out here raking more money than that, but that still is nothing to sneeze at. That's over $500 million. So if it's 600 million, he would get about, possibly, depending on how they structured it, but in any normal thing, if you have a 10% interest, it's 10% of that. But let's just say the 0.01% stake is of 600 million. He would get 6 million, I do believe. So if he gets 6 million and he invested 5.1 million, his ROI is 900,000. So 900,000 year over year. Charles Woodson's only 48. So let's just say all the way to 100, and maybe it's transferable. Maybe he can, his kids and his family can inherit it. So that's roughly $1 million a year in income for being associated with the Cleveland Browns. I'm like, that's nice, but what kind of power does it come with? What kind of influence does it come with? And is that why all of a sudden they have Charles Woodson, which is speculative in itself? Same reason it's speculative that Andrew Berry had the autonomy to give Deshaun Watson a fully guaranteed contract, the only one in NFL history, for $230 or $40 million. So Charles Woodson, out of all the people out here, becomes a minority owner in Cleveland, and nobody talks about it. And it's been 4 days, and what we have seen in the last 2 is what? People walking back the negativity. So congratulations to Charles Woodson and his family. Hopefully he can, like the NFL owners do, the teams can pass on an inheritance or estate planning or whatever. And that's nice for him. But now I'm looking at the perfect timing. Why is this happening now? Because 2 days ago, this happened 4 days ago, Charles Woodson become a minority owner stake and nobody talks about it. It just largely goes undetected. Now, y'all know the media can pump out a story. They can all use their collective voice and scream. Shador Sanders is dropping in the draft. How many times we heard it? They all said it. So, but they didn't all say this. Why they didn't say it? Let me know in the comments why you think this went largely unpublicized. So, it went unpublicized 4 days ago. 2 days ago, we see the walking back of negativity by some of the loudest voices. Now, they didn't use Andrew Berry to walk back his negativity by Shedeur. They did use Kevin Stefanski, and that could be strategic because that's his head coach. Then they used, then again, Andrew Berry could be packing his rags and be about to be somewhere else. And they're going to put that on him. So now we have Colin Cowherd, one of the biggest voices who was not on the NFL media staff that we know of, but it would surprise me if they got a little contract somewhere back there. Super negative against Shedeur, walking it back. So now that I find out about this, the ownership, Charles Woodson, and how they went about it quietly, basically unpublicized, I'm like, So Shedeur get his just due. Coach Prime raised him right. I'm like, somebody getting cussed out in the background. And it ain't just verbal. It's some legal action happening here. And this goodwill, so we don't look like we're what? What is it? Because of all the people to get a minority stake, and I'm not saying he's not deserving. He didn't play for Cleveland. He didn't even play for Cleveland, but he is from Ohio. But I know it's a lot of people from Ohio. Shit, Dave Chappelle live up there. Why they didn't give it to him? So they gave it to a Black Hall of Famer who who's from the Ohio area. I don't know where he live at. I think he might still live there. Went to Ohio State. So yeah, it makes perfect sense. It makes perfect sense, but the timing, going unpublicized virtually, walking back the negative statements 2 days later, and now Shedeur can start, and now his coaches are wowed by his impressive arm strength and his deep ball accuracy. What? So people like me go, it's something going on. It's a lawsuit. It's something. It's something. It is something that NFL is trying to clean up a mess. And they're not about to go out here tomorrow and give Shedeur his 2 and give Shedeur his money, but he gonna get it. He's going to get it. He might not even want the 2. I told y'all it's not about the jersey. It's the fact that they kept saying he's a 5th round draft pick, so he doesn't have the option to pick his jersey number like Travis does because he was a 1st round draft pick. Let me know if you hear that again, other than from me, because I've been playing it, got to snip it. So what y'all think about them apples? Charles Woodson buys minority stake in the Cleveland Browns. 4 days ago, it trickles out. It whispers in the media world. It's a whisper. That's the best way to describe it. And then 2 days ago, we see the walking back, and I told y'all, I don't trust it. I don't trust it. I don't trust it. And here we are. I said, if you can hear them say, oh, he can start, they O-line have a problem. So we say we already keep an eye on the O-line. And now they have a minority owner in Charles Woodson. Y'all know y'all saw Charles Woodson. He interviewed Travis Hunter about playing both ways. He's a quiet guy, in my opinion. That could be why they chose him in terms of personality. But of all the people who could want minority stakes in Cleveland, they went with somebody that looked like Charles Woodson, that looked like Andrew Berry, that looked like Shador Sanders. They said Andrew Berry basically was going to get scammed out of his pick, so they called him stupid. Only one of only the 2 people to be told what to do in the draft, and he want to sit up there and act like their boss lets them do their job, and we like, you're lying. We don't see him walking back the negativity about Shedeur. They let him push him to the side. We don't know where he is. They let Kevin Stefanski do it. Now everybody, Shedeur's fans are like, oh, Kevin, that's great. That's great. Yeah, we rolling with you. See how that worked? Why they didn't let Andrew Berry come back and say, yeah, Shedeur's doing real good. He was raised well. Why they let him do it? They want to let Kevin look like the good guy, and they want to have Andrew Berry look like the bad guy. So you really think that choosing Charles Woodson, of all the people that want minority stake in these NFL teams, didn't have anything to do with the public humiliation at the team level, which carried over from the NFL about Shador Sanders and the scapegoat in the Coach Prime? Because remember, Kevin Stefanski said he was raised right. Having a Hall of Fame dad comes with a lot, but he was raised right. That still was slight to Coach Prime, but he was raised right. Check. So you giving Coach Prime his just due. Shador Sanders is ready for this, built for this, blah, 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 blah. Check. Shador Sanders getting his just due, walking back the negativity. Shador Sanders out here impressing coaches. Wow. Now, that should not be a surprise. I'm sorry. I watched too much pre-draft coverage. They met with him extensively because his arm strength was impressive and his deep ball accuracy is up. They know that. So to come out and say, wow, that we're surprised by something, if you did your job, you would have known that at Colorado, because when y'all at Pro Day, you see they walking back the negativity. So now Shedeur gets his talent props. Check. When he gonna get his money? Check. Because y'all robbed him. If y'all think for 5 seconds, that the fans are going to be okay with y'all robbing this young man of $70 million or 50, I don't care what it is, 50 to 70, that's generational money. So you robbed him of his generational wealth. And some people say, oh, they got him for cheap. No, because they could have pushed him down without publicly defaming him, humiliating him, or whatever. And if you think that the fans are cool with this, you're going to find out, like Coke, that although you started this company, to answer to your fans. And 88 million of them watch Kendrick Lamar. Made your Super Bowl the highest Super Bowl out here. So if you want to go out here messing with the product like Coke Classic, it's going to be an epic failure. Because it's not just about the people who go to the games. It's not just about the people who watch the games. It's about the people who watch the halftime show. It's about the people who watch who wear the merch like me. I wear multi-teams merch. I'm not a Vegas fan. I bought this because of Shedeur. People like me. If you think we okay with you messing with the product like it's Classic Coke, you're going to have an epic failure like Classic Coke because you may have started this league or the people before you started this league. But understand, you have to answer to your customers because you have spent billions to get us hooked on your product. So we're not going to sit here quietly while you scapegoat a legend like Coach Prime, one of the most influential coaches in college football, and push down his draft prospects, hurt those kids because you want to try to hurt the program. Why you give a damn about the college football program? Because I heard your little dude tell the rookies, what you did in college don't matter. So why y'all trying to hurt the college program? Why you trying to hurt the Colorado Buffs program? Why you trying to hurt the draft prospects? If you say it's about Coach Prime, then why is it that Coach Prime was on the Ring of Honor the weekend of Super Bowl up there with Bill Belichick? And even if it is about Coach Prime, why you try to hurt the rest of the draft class? Coach Prime got 16 of 16 Colorado players in pro leagues. One is in Canada, 15 came to the NFL, and unfortunately, one had to withdraw due to failing a physical, so that's 14. 14 in minicamp, invited to minicamp, associated with the NFL. 14. So you recognize their talent, or you recognize Coach Prime's influence. So with that being the case, pushing down the draft prospects don't make any sense because it ain't about Coach Prime. Make it make sense. You may have started this league, but you spent billions to get us hooked. You lured us on draft day, and you violated the Consumer Protection Act. Because what you gave us, that public humiliation that y'all had planned, and take him off the board, he entitled, which comes out of the defamatory mouths of the New York Giants. We're not okay with that. We're not okay with that. And you can't pander to the fans that you have a preference for. We out here too. We're out here too. And we don't appreciate what happened with Shador Sanders in the draft. We didn't appreciate it in continuing over to Cleveland. We happy you got Charles Woodson because I feel like Shedeur might have somebody to watch his back. But are you going to let him have access to the facility, or is he just being trotted out like Michael Strahan with New York after they defamed Shedeur, coming to tell players that look like Shedeur and others, your coaches love you? They don't give a damn about that. Just pay them because you have shown them it's not about football. So if all they want is their money and to have fun playing on the field, and they don't care about the Super Bowl, and they don't care about the coaches, they're like, hey, how you doing? They don't want to invite them to Christmas dinner. They don't feel like they're influential. They see them as stooges, but I'm going to get to this bag. I'm going to go out here and ball out and try to win. That's on you for sullying your brand. So congratulations to Charles Woodson. It makes me feel better that somebody over there could possibly be on the ground. Hopefully I see him on the practice field, and they show him respect like they need to show Shedeur. So I think Shedeur is in good company. Now, why did this happen? I'm sure it's a lot of people who know why it happened. But I do consider the timing very suspicious. And I'm not shocked at about what it is. And it's going to be more to come. It's going to be more to come because if they were truly excited about it, we would have heard about this on every media platform because why? Charles Woodson is a legend in the NFL. The fact that we didn't, and they're walking back the negativity about Shedeur and Coach Prime tells me it's something going on behind the scenes. Shedeur gonna get his money. And he don't need to wait 4 years. He gonna get his money. Understand that. He's gonna get his money, his contract, he gonna get his signing bonus, and we gonna move on. And the NFL gonna learn, just like Coke did. Stop messing with the product. You have to answer to your fans. All right, so that's why I came on here today to basically say that Charles Woodson, congratulations, makes me feel better that he got some boots on the ground. In Cleveland, he is part owner, minority owner of the Cleveland Browns. Now, I think that's huge. And given the situation with Shedeur, what are the things that I say I didn't trust about Cleveland? I didn't trust Cleveland with Shadeur's safety. I didn't trust Cleveland with Shadeur's security. And I didn't trust him with his career. Now they're walking back. Oh, he really is elite. So you need to pay him like he's elite. Because he didn't get pushed down because you didn't know who he was. You knew exactly who he was, which is why you had him at your NFL celebrity football game in New Orleans. Because I wanted to go to that football game the weekend of. I wanted to go because I knew Shedeur was going to be there. Just like all those kids were there to see Shedeur, all the celebrities were there to see Shedeur. The NFL knew exactly who Shedeur was when they had him use him for views for their NFL flag football. They knew exactly who he was when they used him for views for the NFL draft. But they publicly humiliate him despite the fact, because it was more important for them to make Shedeur feel like he ain't nobody than it was for them to embrace his celebrity, like they embraced Kai Cenat or I Show Speed, and capitalize off of his celebrity and grow the league and grow the fan base with the younger audience, because Shedeur is only 23, or maybe he just turned 24, but he's part of that 18 to 25 demographic. So instead of capitalizing off of his celebrity and using it for good, you exploited him to publicly humiliate him and make him feel like he ain't nothing, and the fans got something to say. The legal system is speaking. This is a lesson for the NFL. You might own these teams, but you got to answer to the fans. And Shedeur has 3 million fans and followers, which can fill up 42 NFL stadiums, and there are only 32. So you know what? Shedeur is him. He been him. He stays shining. If y'all, maybe you listen to the music. Maybe you talk to your little kids. I don't know. Y'all did all the things you needed to do. You went out to see you over and over and over. You went to Pro Day over and over and over. Some of y'all asked him not to work out at the Shrine Bowl. I didn't really care for that because it takes away what we want to see. So y'all essentially took him off the board at the Shrine Bowl so we couldn't watch him play, and none of y'all drafted him. Except for maybe Cleveland, and they made him do it. So they knew Shedeur was a celebrity when they drafted him. They knew they didn't want quarterbacks like Shedeur before the combine, and they still proceeded with the defamatory statements. Yesterday, I saw an old post under the NFL page that I put out there. I said, why do y'all allow the media to disparage and denigrate your draft prospects? Now we know why. Where did the phone number come from? The NFL sent out Shador Sanders' phone number to 2,000 people who did not need to know via an email, only his phone number, and a waiver wire report indicating who gets cut was attached. So let me see what y'all saying. Oh, thank you so much, Angela. Angela says she loving the truth. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you. Yancy said, Shedeur has been bigger and the most mature player in the draft. Yeah, Shedeur was the best QB in the draft, the most NFL ready, and they didn't start tanking his stock when they started putting the plan was in motion, though, from the moment that, and you don't hear him talking about it. And I don't know if it go to court, if Mel Kiper Jr. would be forced to reveal his source. But the NFL insider that told him they didn't want quarterbacks like Shedeur, that's a big question mark. It will be, it's very important to know who that person is. Because if it's the same person who it had anything to do with the New York Giants, and then we see the New York Giants organization being the ones where the defamatory statements are coming from the QB coach, the head coach, and this, we don't know who this anonymous assistant coach is. So there's two big question marks that the identities need to be revealed, because if they all track back to the New York Giants, then that's who needs to sell their team. Yesterday. Hey, Queen in chat. Sorry, I'm like, it's okay, Marlon. So I want to see, what do y'all think about the perfect timing? Like, we're happy for Charles Woodson. That's not what we think. We're not questioning. Are we happy for Charles Woodson? We're absolutely happy for Charles Woodson and or his family. But what we're talking about is, what do you think about the timing of a legend like Charles Woodson, Ohio native, becoming a minority owner in stake, having a minority stake and ownership of the Cleveland Browns, and it going largely, it was just whispered out. The announcement being a whisper. What you think about that? The timing of the deal, who it is. Because I was like, oh, I wonder if Coach Prime would want something like that. And I instantly thought of their personalities. You don't see Charles Woodson is more like maybe a Travis Hunter. Shador Sanders is Coach Prime. And I thought about that. So let me know what y'all think about that. Let me know what y'all, it's really the timing that got me, especially after walking back the negativity. Do y'all feel like it's something going on behind the scenes? I think it is. I said it was 2 days ago. I don't trust y'all. Why all of a sudden he could start? Why all of a sudden he was raised right? Why all of a sudden he's ready for this? Why all of a sudden, wow, he has impressive arm strength? These are all the defamatory statements that are being walked back. I want you to understand that's what's happening. All of the defamatory statements are being walked back. Remember, his arm strength was weak? That's a defamatory statement. Now it's impressive. Now he can start. He's not good enough. Remember the anonymous assistant coach? He's not good enough. He comes ready. Remember the New York Giants head coach? He's entitled. He has an entourage. He wasn't prepared. All of the defamatory statements are being walked back in other areas than from where they came from. Not a coincidence. Michael Strahan was seen on camera telling the players who are majority Black, your coaches love you, after the way they publicly humiliated Shador Sanders and defamed him. Might explain why one person in particular was standing in the back. I noticed that. It's like, oh, this is not message for me. This message not for me. Trotting out Michael Strahan. Trotting out Charles Woodson. I have no problem with the deal with Charles Woodson. That's what's needed, because they're not going to sell unless they actually get in front of a courtroom and all their dirty laundry come out. And they don't want that. It's funny how they want these teams. They want to be the owners of these teams, but they don't want to respect the players, especially the Black ones, the Black players, especially the Black quarterbacks. I can't imagine the group of people that are really interested in getting ownership. This might have been something that came up a long time ago, but the timing, perfect timing. You know what? We're in a situation. Let's get Woodson in here. They knew he had the money, but he's going to stand to make a lot more money. And he can still keep his brand. He doesn't have to give up his brand. He does have to make it, instead of a graphic logo with him on it, a text logo. That's nothing. That's a drop in the pan. Then when it comes to commentating, like Tom Brady, that's one of the restrictions he also had. Apparently, you can't be a commentator on these big box channels, which is probably why we saw Tom Brady, the last post he had from Colin Cowherd platform was 3 months ago, because he became part owner in the Raiders. So yeah, I told y'all I'm a fan of the ownership groups, because these NFL teams, they need oversight. They can't just be the owners, because you see that's how the collusion took place. Now, mind you, all the collusion took place and they still had ownership groups. So maybe that's not anything helpful. Maybe it's not as helpful as it could be. So maybe this is just what I said, trotting out Michael Strahan to tell the Black players in New York, your coaches love you, after they publicly defamed and humiliated Shador Sanders. Coming over to Cleveland, where Shador Sanders is, and they continued the public disrespect, trying to humiliate him and tell him he ain't nobody, telling him he's entitled, basically continuing the same tired trope, which explains why we don't see Andrew Berry. And they probably gonna hang that around his neck, but that's his fault. He didn't have to keep up with that. He could have been like Mike Tomlin and said, you know what? the intangibles with Shedeur, and that's all of the he's ready. He was built for this type stuff, the media circus or whatever. Mike Tomlin, in my opinion, was graceful and saying everything we saw was impressive, and the intangibles too. That's all Andrew Berry had to say is shut the hell up. But he let them use him and his melanin. Not him, but his melanin. They didn't care about his brain because they told him what to say. Michael Strahan is out there doing the same thing, and that's really disappointing because he went to an HBCU. I don't know where Andrew Berry went to school, but going to Texas Southern University when Michael Strahan went to school, he'd seen some things. I don't care who you marry. I don't. I don't care if you don't marry anybody black. You still have the black experience, and when you have kids, they gonna have it too. They gonna see it. So letting these people use them this way is what you got to be careful of. And this is what I was talking about to Travis Hunter yesterday on my birthday message. I need him to be careful on how he's moving because understand, while, you know, your personality might, and we see Travis, he likes to have fun. While he might, it's nothing wrong with Coach Prime. Don't move away from Coach Prime and don't let people tell you that you should be submissive or lower your voice or calm down, or they don't show the parts of you that we see, that you are lively, you know, that you like to go and get it on the field, that you talk a little trash because they trying to sell you as a person who came to do as they say and not worry about what they do, to be submissive. It's okay to get the bag, but don't lose who you are. And trying to whittle away at Shedeur is what the NFL is guilty of trying to buck break him. Trying to make him submissive because he's black and they think blacks are inferior. So how do you have the audacity to think that you can make decisions? I was thinking about that yesterday. It's funny how when black NFL players, especially quarterbacks, try to make decisions, oh Lord, they get targeted. Shedeur got targeted because he wanted to be the transformative QB that he is. So telling these players what you did in college, leave that behind. No. They drafted you for your experience. Build on it. And anybody that tells you to leave what you did behind is essentially telling you they're anti-NIL. Because if I want you to leave your playing experience behind, I want you to leave your brands too. Because how do you bring over your brand's celebrity status and not bring your experience? Now that's what they don't want. I want you to bring your talent. I want you to bring the experience that made you great. I heard the guy tell them, if you won a championship at Texas, don't worry about it. I'm like, the hell you say? Because they don't want to look at you as you've earned anything. Not only have you earned a championship, you have earned probably a couple of $1 million. I laughed to myself and said, this man telling a room of millionaires, because they all millionaires before they got there. Telling a room full of millionaires that he not one. I know he not. Don't worry about what you did before. That don't matter. That's a lie. When you work for anybody, they hire you because you can get the job done. They hire you for your experience, and they want you to bring that experience to their product, their corporation. The NFL is a corporation. Not a game, but that's what they act like. It's a corporation. So yeah, they want you to bring your experience. Because when they start telling you leave your experience behind, they're going to tell you leave your NIL behind too. Your name, your image, and your likeness. And that is the thing that's going to be your saving grace when you get on the other side of the NFL. If you are in the league for the average amount of the career span, which is 3 years, you better hold on to that NIL, that name, image, and likeness. You better hold on to those brand deal relationships that you made. Don't you park them at the door. Because when you get on the other side of the NFL, and they just got vision benefits for retirement, understand that. They just got vision benefits, but y'all been had eyes. Every other company out here been had vision benefits. If it's a decent company. You keep that NIL, so when you get on the other side of the NFL, you keep the relationships going while you in. You should be able to keep up your brands on your social media like you've been doing. You should not have to park it at the door. You maintain, you manage, you grow, you make those relationships flourish. So when you get on the other side of NFL, they are still there and they take you into your later years. Because if you retire at 26 and you live till you 80, you're gonna go broke off the probably the $20 million after taxes, $10 million after you live it up for a few years. You need that money to carry you to 80, from 26 to 80, from 30 to 80. Hell, 40 to 80 if you make it that far. So you keep those relationships. You have social media, that is yours. You should be able to keep that going. That has nothing to do with the NFL. You should not be restricted to continue your personal brand. We see how it works for Coach Prime. Now look at the rest of the players after that retired with Coach Prime. Where are they? Retired after Coach Prime. Where are they? Where's Antonio Brown right now? You see what I'm saying? So something about these rookie contracts, if I got a little whiff of what they told Charles Woodson the restrictions are, he can't commentate on games because technically he's an owner. That makes sense. That makes sense, right? We see Dwayne Wade with his own podcast. He a part owner in the Utah Jazz, kind of has a minority ownership stake as well. But he has his own brand. He's his own podcast. Charles Woodson should be able to do the same thing, and maybe he has a podcast. But the NFL picking and choosing people who are quiet and you don't really see them and whispering out they're joining the league, it's not a good look. It's good for Charles Woodson, but it also says even after the NFL, if you want to work with us, it's not your brand that they care about. It's the fact that, one, you're not going to be bigger than them, and two, they're not going to really hear you. They probably ain't going to even see you. Serena Williams is part owner in her and her sister in the Miami Dolphins ownership group. They still have their personal brands. That's life after tennis, life after their sport. Baseball players, I'm sure they do it too. Hell, they still talk about Pete Rose. So why is it that NFL players can't have their celebrity while they in the league? Why they got to park it at the door? Because what you did in college don't matter. Yes, it does. That's a lie. That's to try to whittle away at you for step one. If I pay you all this money, none of y'all can be bigger than the NFL. What? The NFL better get with it. I told y'all this is not Candyland and this is not 1855. It's not. It's not. And the fans are making sure that the NFL understands you can put out classic Coke if you want to, but understand you better study what happened at Coke. It was an epic failure. And to me, I'm already seeing failure. The NFL itself might be quiet. We might not see Andrew Berry. The Giants might have tried it out, Michael Strahan, but you're not going to tell me out of all the people that could have had minority ownership stake in the Cleveland Browns, they chose a black man in the NFL who they don't even like to have brands and don't care if they go broke. Just like you're not going to convince me in a jury that Andrew Berry had the autonomy to give out the only fully guaranteed contract to a quarterback after he settled 23 cases of misconduct. No coincidence, they both are black. All right. They know Shedeur is what a lot of teams want. Here's the thing. You know, when you mess up like they did and mess up is bad, this is a legal issue. It just is. It's a legal issue. And I feel like they know it, which is why they starting to put Strahan out there to mitigate what the players think. They were starting to put, and they got it on camera, by the way. I didn't see nobody on camera in other organizations talking like that. So they got that on camera for a reason. They trying to absolve the New York Giants of their part, their major part, their 51% part in this public humiliation that they carried out against Shador Sanders and the defamation. See, to understand this about the defamation, the owners use the defamatory statements. Get that elite so-and-so off the board. Boomer Esiason told us. They sent him out there too. And we like, really? So y'all colluded against him. And you use defamatory statements made by the New York Giants. coaching staff? Why they still have jobs? So rather than fire the people who caused the problem, which is what most companies would do. Believe me, that's what most companies, you got to go. We can't have you selling the brand. They should have fired those people already. But no, they trying to protect the people they prefer to see. And then what? Now, I'm going to just put Michael Strahan out here and they'll see him and they'll think everything okay. These young people, these savvy, they not just tech savvy. They're well beyond tech savvy. They are media savvy. This class coming in, they are media savvy. And maybe not all of them, because when I saw Shedeur and Keyshawn Junkins, Keyshawn didn't really know how Twitter works. But if you come out of Colorado, I bet you know how Twitter works. If you coming out of Colorado, maybe not everybody's on Twitter, but you got some social media going on. And if you don't, what you're doing is you're just waiting around till the NFL call your name. And then you think you're going to work hard and they're going to respect you. And then when you leave, you're going to realize, damn it, when I was at Colorado, I should have got my brand up. People talk about Cam Ward being jealous of Shadeur's marketability. I see he still got his social media going. I wonder if that's why he signed his rookie contract yet. Because like coming in at minority ownership, there are restrictions on what it is you can do and cannot do. If you can't have your face on your brand, maybe he can't have his face on his personal brand. I don't know why that matters. Because if he's the number one pick overall, his personal brand should be something that any corporation, including the one he works for, should be, hey, put this out here and let's get your followers to the game. Shedeur got 3 million followers. They don't want his 3 million followers. Why? Because it wasn't their idea to get his 3 million followers. It's too much going on here to have nothing to do with business. And that's why we're seeing, if you ask me, Charles Woodson, and yeah, it's a bonus that it works because they want a stadium too. And they shouldn't be allowed to get a stadium because their performance is poor historically. So no, like them airplanes out there that I was telling you all about, the FAA said, hey, you can't get no more airplanes till you do something with the ones you have. So you need to be a winning team for at least a minimum of a decade before you can get another stadium. We're not just giving our stadiums out here all willy-nilly. And you would think if they wanted a stadium, they would have capitalized off the celebrity of Shador Sanders. But you know what these owners need to ask themselves? Because I know everybody not on the same page. Some of them got forced into it. Imagine you the one team that wins out on the celebrity NFL QB with 3 million fans, and your games are all sold out, and the rest of them are fledgling. See, collusion works a couple of ways. I can collude against you, and I can also collude with you. Because he can only go to one team, and maybe the other 31 owners don't want one beneficiary of getting the star celebrity QB on their team, and they being sold out. If Shedeur and Travis had gone to Cleveland, Cleveland will probably be sold out for the next 5 years, as long as the contracts last, because everybody will want to see, and not just Cleveland fans. There are 9 Cleveland fans invested in Shador Sanders' journey. So it was like, if only one of us can get him, none of us can get him. That's what it was given. That's what it was given. But the fact that they came with the defamation, take that entitled off of our board, they in trouble. They in trouble. And I do believe Charles Woodson becoming a minority ownership state in the Cleveland Browns is proof of that, along with the walking back of the defamatory statements about Shedeur and Coach Prime. It's something going on we don't know about. And if we wait 5 minutes, we're going to find out, just like we found out why the walking back of the statements. Just like we now see the minority ownership, we're going to see something else. We need to see too with his jersey. Remember when they put out the jerseys, they said, oh, it can change. If I'm Shedeur, you better get that too. If somebody magically disappears or don't want it no more, or you find it in your locker, put it on and come on out here with it. Wrist up. You built that brand. Don't park it at the door. And it's okay for you to be who you are from college. Because anybody tell you, I hired you and I want you to start fresh is a lie. I hired you for your experience. And I want you to bring your experience and knowledge and wisdom over here and your celebrity status too. And I want to capitalize off of it. So I'm gonna put you out front and center with your brand on from college. Telling these kids anything else is trying to whittle away at what they have built in college in terms of their name, image, and likeness. And who wants to work for a company where you can't be your whole celebrated self just so they can look better? And they don't look better anyway, because fans are not stupid. This younger generation, I'm telling you, this younger generation, you see how the prank was recorded, right? That opened up everything. It actually exposed what was going on behind the scenes. And then because of the prank, we found out the NFL sent out the number. We found out they sent it out to 2,000 people. We found out they lied and said it was the Falcons. They knew damn well it was them the whole time. So it's letting you know what they're capable of being shady. It also lets you know when you see Andrew Berry, Michael Strahan, and Charles Woodson, who are all good people, maybe not Berry, but NFL legends being used. Look at their personality. Michael Strahan, it was a quiet dude. Charles Woodson is a quiet dude, and it's okay to be quiet. But it's not okay to let people use you to make a monkey out yourself. Because that's what they're saying about you in the calls that you ain't on and that the meetings that you're not in. It's okay that you want to, and you should want to mentor the next generation, but you ain't got to lie to them and tell them your coaches care about you, and they think, oh, I guess they didn't care about Shedeur. So that's also making it about Shedeur. That's what that is doing. Why they didn't send a white coach out there to do it? You might tell me there's no white people that want to buy minority ownership stake in the Cleveland Browns right now? I'm not mad at Charles Woodson. I'm happy for him. I hope it translates and transfers over in his estate planning and his family can keep that going. I sure do. I think it's needed. I feel safer with him. I feel safer with Charles Woodson as a minority owner. I ain't gonna lie. I want to see him in the building and on the field, and I hope he and Shedeur make eye contact. That's really what I want. I'm happy because they're not gonna sell the team tomorrow without World War III. So if this is what we got to start with, this is the whittling away at Candyland. That's what this is. And I'm happy for it. So congratulations to Charles Woodson and his family. I feel safer about Shedeur being in Cleveland. Because remember, his phone number went out to 2,000 people. That's 32 teams and everybody that worked there, including the Cleveland Browns, who say they weren't going to draft him. Although they met with him extensively in the pre-draft process. But that's another conversation. Yeah, they know who Shedeur is. They know who he is. Thank y'all. 80 people for lunch. Yay! All right, so we're going to get ready to get out of here. I'm going to read some more of y'all's comments. And I'm going to pop up on Twitter. What is it? Not Twitter. My apologies. What is it? Twitch. I already have a Twitch account. I have some followers. I'm going to pop up over there and we're going to play a game. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Hashtag make it make sense. That's really Shador Sanders draft night. Make it make sense. And for anybody that's listening, it would be so nice if Shador's brand could put out a jersey. I would say with the 2. That's what I want. That's just what I want. A jersey with the 2 that says legendary. Like have it like be maybe the mesh jersey material and put legendary on the back. Instead of Sanders, you just put legendary on the back in those letters that he used, that old English letters. I like that. And then let it be the 2 on the front. And if we could get like the little stripes on the side and his brand colors that are like black and on the side, I want that. So if anybody, Bucky, if you listen, Shedeur, you don't have time, we worry about you, but people that run your team, if y'all listening, if we could get that 2 legendary jersey, it would be greatly appreciated. Greatly appreciated. All right, let's see what we have. This perfect for Shedeur. I agree. Who said that? Hold on 1 second. M5 forever. M5 forever. Okay. Thank you. I like that. It says something is telling me he gonna get that 2 back. Oh, he gonna get that 2 back. He gonna get the 2 and he gonna get his money. Now I can't. Now I want to watch. See, I want to watch now. Because, see, I know what's going on. I know they walking back the defamatory statements. I know that's what happened. And it worked out for Charles Woodson perfectly. I love it. See, that's how God can bring, what they say, a message from a mess. So draft night was a mess. And now we got a message. Stop playing. So don't be out here, NFL, trying to come out here with the classic Coke, because we not for it. You can go get you some Coke Zero, maybe. You can go get you some vanilla Coke, some brown sugar Coke. You can get whatever kind of Coke you want, but you better leave that classic Coke alone. Stop with the product. Because just like what's his name? He said, if the NFL keep around with Shador Sanders, I'm gonna burn it down like the turkey leg hut. I'm like, what? Whatever his name is, I still have that video and I still look at it every now and then. If he balls out in 4 years, he'll be the highest paid QB. There's no if in 5 forever. He already balled out in camp. He's their starter. I said this yesterday on X. I just go to X and just say random shit I'm thinking. So please go to X and follow me. I said the Cleveland Browns gonna have a tough time trying to cut Shador Sanders or bench him, because they was gonna cut him. I heard Kevin Stefanski in the meeting. Nobody has made the team if you weren't, maybe it was somebody else. Nobody has made the team if you weren't drafted in the first round, yada, yada, yada. Everybody got to work for it. I was like, y'all ain't cutting Shador Sanders. I told y'all. I said, Cleveland gonna cut somebody, but it ain't gonna be Shador Sanders. I was serious about that. I was like, you're not cutting him. See, they didn't factor in the audience that they want so badly. They didn't factor in the fans who made them what they are. Dallas don't have a $10 billion valuation because Jerry Jones is just this, I don't know, mastermind in business. They have a $10 billion valuation because people are invested in the brand. And you can't on people who are invested in the brand and the people that they care about. Shador Sanders got a lot of love out here. I told you, 3 million fans and followers. That's huge. And there are people that watch Colorado who didn't even root for Colorado. In the NFL, if it was truly business minded and was making business decisions on draft night, would have been salivating to get that, just like they were happy to have him in their NFL celebrity game, Super Bowl weekend, just like they were happy to have him on draft night, although they tricked us all, violated the Consumer Protection Act, and publicly humiliated him. But then somewhere after Super Bowl weekend and February 20th, the NFL doesn't want quarterbacks, plural, like Shador Sanders. I told y'all, this ain't about Coach Prime. This is not about a Prime text. This is about quarterbacks like Shador Sanders now. Time now. I told y'all what it was about. And I'm not the only one that know. And I know people been listening to me, watching my podcast silently in the back. And I'm happy. That's what it's supposed to be. Somebody said, what you're saying is great, but you're just a pebble. You know, like the voice is little. And I said, God can take that pebble and skip it across the ocean. And that's what's happening. And thank you. That's why we're doing it. Thank you. The NFL shenanigans will never make sense. Nope. They're doing too much to try to make these black players fit the lie that they're selling, that black players are inferior to whites. So I'm trying to make all the quarterbacks white again. I'm trying to pay all the white quarterbacks handsomely and put them at the top of the money list, because I looked at the money list. It was changing. It was changing. With Brock Purdy, it's changing back. With Josh Allen, it's changing back. But and Brock Purdy deserves his money. It's not about that. So the white players get used too, but they don't say nothing. And that's problematic because, you know, while they're all competitors, they see how certain people or black players are being mistreated. They see that. They know that Johnny Manziel like the happy candy, the snow. They know that. And they don't say nothing. And they see Shedeur a good kid and they don't say nothing. See, that's not stand-up quality. See, you have to recruit people who have that mindset that actually are okay with being placed above others, even though they didn't do nothing to get there. You have to recruit people who come from places like Mississippi, who have a backwards philosophy about human beings and that there's a difference in lower cognitive functioning of blacks and whites. So you have to get people who feel good about celebrating that. You also have to get people who don't mind moving out the way and allowing their quarterback to get sacked. We saw it in college. That's why I side-eyeing the O-lines. Look at who on it. Look at who they're using. Look at who they're moving around to what team, because it signals to me what quarterback is next. And yeah, it's going to be some in there that have some melanin too. Just like DeAndre Carter having the number 2, and he has never worn the 2 in the NFL at all. So suddenly you want your number from high school when you haven't had it at all. And was he a first round draft pick? So why did he get to choose? Because he wanted the 2. He said the 2 or the 5. Why they didn't give him the 5? This is playing keep away with Shedeur jersey number hurts the NFL more than it hurts Shedeur. Shedeur said he don't care what number he wear. He don't. These guys are in the league after all of this adversity. You know why? Because they like the game. If they came into college with money, they like the game. Do I wish they would get together and start their own league? Yes. Yes. But maybe they just want to play now. So it's already in place. So I'm going to go play them now. And the money and not the fame, but the money and playing on this level has been a dream of mine since little. And I want to keep going with it. So I'm going to try to sidestep all this adversity. Cool. But that don't mean y'all shouldn't be behind the scenes trying to start your own league, because y'all are clearly the talent. Anytime they try out Michael Strahan and not a white guy to tell y'all that the New York Giants coaching staff love y'all after they publicly humiliated and defamed Shador Sanders and was connected to the prank somehow. That Ole Miss connection. Trying to rub Shedeur face in it that they got Jackson Dart. I don't know why, because they would never drafted Shedeur, because they have never had, the New York Giants have never had a black starting quarterback. And maybe somebody was trying to force him to take one and they got mad at Shedeur. Well, we don't want to have to take him. He the best. We know it. See, that's how you know he the best. They went through too much trouble to try to say he wasn't. And we not buying it. Just like it was a whisper that Charles Woodson became a minority owner, it was a whisper about Shador Sanders' stats. See, they whisper when they want to. They yell and scream when they try to defame the young man, though. His stats were impeccable. So I was happy to see that Shedeur had the ability to throw for over 400 yards, but these are people that are trying to make the team. When they get to OTAs and when the vets and everybody come back and they do the real camp, that's when we get to see the O-line. If they smart, they'll stream it. If not, we're going to get the footage some kind of way. And I saw Bucky when they were getting ready for the jersey reveal. He was in the locker rooms. So that's nice that he has that access. So that tell you that they're not against the media circus. It's not a media circus. He's not entitled. It's not about Coach Prime. They walking back the defamatory negative statements about Shedeur. Now they wild away at his impressive arm and his deep ball accuracy. This is about the NFL doesn't want quarterbacks like Shador Sanders. Now, that's what it's about. All right, y'all, we're going to get out of here. We're going to get out of here. Yeah, who's that? Kimberly. Yeah, Shedeur don't care what number he wear. I just didn't like the fact that they were trying to sell him as a QB with 5th round skills and using, oh, he's a QB with 5th round skills, so he don't get to choose his jersey number. No. That's more defamation. That's a lie. And what they should have been saying was, and what people are starting to say, because I know I said it, Shador Sanders is not a 5th round quarterback. Shador Sanders is an elite QB1 starting quarterback who was pushed down to the 5th round and drafted. Make that make sense. Tell me why. Those are questions that they don't want to answer. Tell me why he was pushed down. Tell me why the owners colluded and took the board off and called him entitled, which clearly was a defamatory statement used by the New York Giants. Tell me why. Why and why now? When you get answer the now, the truth will be apparent to everybody. So it's better to go ahead on and add Charles Woodson to Cleveland's. Out of 32 teams, Charles Woodson gets the minority ownership in Cleveland. Yeah, okay. FBAs need their own league. I agree, Alonzo. They need their own league. The blueprint is there. And you know what? I said, hey, call me. I already had a vision. Call me. If you need a chief strategy officer, I'm her. Because I'm just hanging the vision and I want you to go run it. Because it's too doable. It's too doable. And I'm like, the time is now. I'm not saying they all should have quit or whatever, because remember, this is a media savvy class that's coming in. This is, think about it. If NIL started in 2021 and this is 2025, some of them were freshmen in 2021. Some of them redshirt came out in 2025. So they've been with NIL the whole time. So the NFL seems outdated to tell NIL recipients, people who are coming in as millionaires, to park your name, image, and likeness at the door because you can't be bigger than the NFL. These kids have personal brands while they're in college. And if their colleges don't have a problem with it, the NFL gonna lose talent. Because I'm not coming out of school to go to that. They paying me $4 million over here at so-and-so university. And they don't care whether we win a championship or not. They want the TV deal. They want that lucrative TV deal. And the colleges have no problems with these students getting their brands up. In fact, they're told in these programs, get your brand up. Don't just be happy with the minimum that you get from this about to be shared $22 million. You can still get your brand up and get paid by revenue sharing in college. Imagine having a steady check from the school because you on the team. Your name, image, and likeness is being used while you're playing in each game. So you get a check for that. And then you got, Hattie B's, hot chicken, coming to you because you play in Nashville in college. Hey, we want you, they look at your social media because they see how popular you are. Hey, we want to attract your followers. We'll make a deal with you. We'll pay you $1,000 per post. It's probably higher than that, depending on what's at stake here. 1,000 per post, I'm gonna be posting like crazy. But they might say 1,000 per post, and we need 2 posts a day for the next 30 days. That's a lot of money. 30 times 2. That's a lot of money. And you want these kids to come to the NFL, and the first thing you tell them when they all collectively together so they can all hear it. What you did in college doesn't matter. If you want a championship, that don't matter. That's the first step they use it to whittle away at their celebrity. So if I got to leave what made me great behind, you don't want my experience either. You just think I'm a raw product. They not a raw product. That's why these guys got to start their own league. They can do this better. Just like Unrivaled Basketball was successful with it. So yes. Patricia said, hey sis, what's up? Suing the NFL, don't let them off the hook. We need the 10 billion. I agree with that. It definitely got to be. Y'all heard me say it's definitely have to be more than $1 billion, because they would just sue for racial discrimination against Black NFL players and settled it because they don't want to go to court. It's too much out there. It's too much out there. That's why when we started talking about this, I said a law firm with 10 people's names on the door got a case. And I said even a law firm with 1 person's name on the door has a case. The NFL fans can get together and sue. I disagree. He's not a starter yet. He's not a 5th round QB either. So we could meet up somewhere in the middle. And I can assure you, had he been drafted number 2 to Cleveland overall, he will be their QB1. Because if Cam Ward is a starter, so is Shador Sanders. Because why? They are essentially the same quarterback. And the only reason why you say he's not a starter is because you don't want him to start. Shedeur Sanders balled out in minicamp. Hell yeah, he a starter. 400 yards, 5 touchdowns, and 28 of 30. Come on now. You damn right he a starter. They're going to have a hard time benching him, cutting him, or trying to continue to publicly humiliate him. None of that will be possible going forward because people are standing on their heads. I'm telling you, they are not voluntarily walking back the defamatory statements. Because if they had their way, they would keep on with it because they did after the draft. That's how you know it's something going on behind the scenes. When you don't hear the media trashing him anymore, that's how you know they all done had individual meetings. Oh, you can't say that. The things that they did, Shedeur, they would never do to Arch Manning. Never. Because they respect the Manning family. Why they don't respect the Sanders? After Coach Prime made these people a gaggle of money, he was associated with the NFL network or whatever, what do you call it, commentating for 17 to 18 years. And he one of the most influential coaches in college football, even after they tried to hold his roster down. We just got another 5-star. Shout out to the Colorado Buff players who stood 10 toes down when they were pushing your brothers down. Skull Buffs. When I'm in New Orleans and I have on that Colorado jacket, y'all heard it on video. Colorado, Skull Buffs, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders. Yeah. So the NFL don't like media because it's a media circus. Here's the thing. When they say Cleveland don't want the media circus that come with Coach Prime, last I checked, Coach Prime live in Boulder. Last I checked, Coach Prime worked in Colorado. So that's a lie. That's just something to say to try to prevent Shedeur from being a Black starting QB1 and a celebrity all at the same time, which is huge. Which is huge. I will say the NFL probably not used to these celebrities coming out of college because this is essentially the first full class. NIL came out in 2021. It wasn't on and popping right then and there. You see, when Coach Prime was in Colorado at Jackson State, NIL was out there, but it wasn't like that. Matter of fact, I saw the guy from Actively Black being interviewed by Jamel Hill. I was watching it on the Actively Black page, and he talked about how, I remember, he signed Shiloh, Shedeur, and Travis Hunter to an NIL deal for Actively Black. And he said it. Nike came for him. Then when they moved on to Colorado and Nike had a bigger presence there, that's why you started wearing Nike. They didn't even want him posting about Shiloh, Shedeur, and Travis and Actively Black, even though he had deals with them. For a small company to have a giant want to come step on you, that means he was doing something right. For Shador Sanders to be who he is, who he's always been, and he's a good kid, they didn't want him to be bigger than him, just like Actively Black didn't want people that want Actively Black to become bigger than them. We gonna win. Yep, we are gonna win. We are going to win. So it's not a media circus. It's not about Coach Prime. It's not about Shador celebrity because he was in their NFL celebrity game. I don't know if y'all was paying attention, but I shared a timeline. That timeline, I started at 2-8. I'm gonna go back and started at 2-6 or 2-7, whatever the date was for the NFL flag football, because it shows you on 2-6 or 2-7, you knew who he was. You had him in your NFL flag football celebrity game. You was using his celebrity then. You used it at the draft. Why is it a problem now? Because it's not about that. It's not about Coach Prime. It's not about the celebrity. It's not about that. It's about a Black QB1 being number 17 of 32. That is Shedeur. And it's about that same Black QB1 being hella famous already. He ain't going to be submissive. That's why I don't want Black quarterbacks. I'm sorry, I don't want quarterbacks like Shador Sanders now. But I said it right. That's what they didn't want. That's why it was no coincidence Shedeur and Miro got pushed out the way. And 2 white quarterbacks, lesser talented than both of them, no debate about that. Dart and Tyler Shaw. The media is still keeping up with the foolishness. I saw a post saying the rookies who will be most impactful on their teams. Tyler Shaw was on the list. Shedeur wasn't. Travis was. Abdul Carter was. Cam Ward was. But they didn't put Shedeur. So they still trying to stumble. But Shedeur don't care about stuff like that. See, we knew Shedeur was focused and locked in at CU. We knew he had an impressive arm at CU. We knew he had deep ball accuracy at CU. Shedeur Sanders was the most accurate QB in the draft. But they don't want quarterbacks like Shedeur. So if you don't want all of the things that you need to win, like Shedeur, you're going to have to tell me why you don't. And that statement was also whispered out and you'll hear about it, but it's out there. It's out there. I saw them in Actively Black, so I bought some items. Yes. And I think that's one of the reasons I also bought Actively Black. I agree. It said, I still have that. I probably wear it. That Actively Black. They have the tape going down the arm, the black on black. That's nice. And the quality is, wow. The quality of Actively Black is top notch. They might have put that law out there. 9 cents. So no one else was sued. What law are you talking about, Patricia? We should start saying we want to be a part of that lawsuit. On they would have to let us know who's behind. Yeah. See, okay, anonymity in a class action lawsuit. You have to be okay. So remember the person that filed the lawsuit first, right? He was anonymous. That's one person. It's rare to have a class action lawsuit and there be anonymity. Somebody got to be front facing forward. Somebody got to do the legwork, work with a lawyer, get it out there. It is not hard. It's not hard at all. It's not hard at all. It's not hard at all. So, you know, that's where we at with that. All right, y'all, we're gonna get out of here because we did an hour and 25 minutes and some of us got to get back. If you're on Twitch, turn your notifications on. I'm gonna pop up. We're gonna play a game. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. This is how you sum up Shador Sanders' draft night and the days following in Cleveland, and how they treated him. Make it make sense. Make it make sense. All right, y'all. So we're going to get out of here. I'll see y'all later. I appreciate y'all for hanging out with me. Thanks for watching Lunch's stream. Thanks for watching What She Said Sports. We'll be back tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm sure there'll be some more breaking news or something else I want to talk about. We got Tyrod Taylor in the works over here. And we said we were going to look into some of the old linemen, Cornelius Lucas from Cleveland. So stay tuned for that and engage with us, connect with us on all social media platforms. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.